9 out of 10 insurance agents wash out in their first year, and most of them had no idea it was coming. They got licensed, they were pumped up, they thought they were about to change their lives, and somewhere between the junk leads or bad training or maybe just the wrong agency, it all fell apart. That doesn't have to be you. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to give you the exact blueprint to make sure it isn't you. If you guys are new here, I'm Ryan Valet, your Fexpert or final expense expert, and I've been in life insurance telesales in just about every niche for over 4 years now. So we now run a free lead agency where you can work from the comfort of your own home. Not only are the systems and the leads at no cost, but we also provide exclusive leads and pretty much an unlimited amount of leads in our pool where you can dial 7 days a week if you want. So if you're serious about joining and becoming a master at telesales over the phone, just click the link in the description or shoot me an email to see if we're a good fit. Just a real opportunity and leads that actually close. By the end of this video, you're going to know the 3 landmines that blow up most agents' careers before they ever get it going, and exactly how to sidestep every single one of them. We're talking MLM traps, garbage leads, and the mindset mistakes that kill careers before they even get off the ground. So getting into it, here's something nobody tells you when you're getting your license. The majority of insurance agencies out there are essentially MLMs in disguise. And I don't say that lightly. Now, on one hand, I am thankful for MLMs because that's how people find this business, and their crappy models are how great agents find me. But think about what an MLM actually does. It recruits you, gets you excited, and then immediately pushes you to go recruit other people before you ever actually learn the craft. If it sounds familiar, it's because that's exactly what most insurance agencies do. You're brand new, you don't know the products, you barely know how to get past the gatekeeper, let alone close a deal. And of course, they've got you out there trying to recruit your cousin Jerry into the business before you've even made your first dime. And here's why that's such a problem beyond just being really a distraction. When you recruit somebody into a business you don't understand yet, you can't actually help them. You become another blind person leading the blind. So it creates this waterfall effect where failure gets passed down from one agent to the next, and nobody is actually learning how to sell because there's nobody successful at the top to teach them. The people running these operations really don't care because they're not making their money off production. They're making their money off of you. And that's the second piece of the MLM machine that you need to understand. In a lot of these agencies, you are the product. Yep, you just saw that in real time. For whatever reason, my light just decided to shut off. So anyway, here's a real example of something I've personally seen where agencies take cheap sweepstakes data, and I'm talking leads generated for literal pennies, and then they resell them to their own agents at a markup of 43 times the actual cost, which obviously if it's pennies, 43 times isn't much. They sell them for like $10, $15 a piece. Now you're sitting there wondering why every person you call has no idea what life insurance is, or why they're confused or angry. Also, why nothing is converting. And in the meantime, the agency is printing money off of your good faith. You trusted them. They use that trust to drain your bank account. There are actually agencies right now that are being sued across multiple states for exactly this kind of thing. Of course, I can't name them because they'll come after me with lawyers, but trust me, it's happening, and it's actually more common than what you think. And then there's the friends and family play. A lot of these MLM style agencies will coach you early to tap into your personal network. Bring in your sister, get your buddy from high school to buy a policy. And look, sure, your friends and family might genuinely benefit from having coverage. I'm not arguing that. But the reason these agents push so hard and so early because the managers who brought you in want access to your network so they then can sell them, pocket the commission, and give you a tiny cutoff if you're lucky. And the worst part about it is that you wind up blowing up real relationships over a bad experience with a company that never had your best interest in mind. I've seen it happen many, many times. People losing friendships, family members not speaking to each other, all because someone got them into an MLM insurance scheme before they knew what they were doing. So, the number one thing that will improve your odds of making it in this business is simply avoiding agencies that operate this way, or get out ASAP if you're there. If you walk into a conversation with a potential agency and within the first 20 minutes, they're already talking about building a team and recruiting your network, that's your sign. Get up and walk out. A legitimate agency talks about one thing first, and that's helping you sell. So, what does a real agency actually look like? First and foremost, they are obsessed with production, not recruitment, not building downlines, not team building retreats. They want you to know how many policies you're writing, how your conversation rate looks, how your follow up game is, and what they can actually do to help you get better. If the entire culture of an agency is built around selling and becoming a better salesperson, you're in the right place. That focus is everything. The second red flag is they give you real training, not just some old videos with outdated PDFs. I'm talking live call assistance, someone who can actually jump on when you're stuck in an objection in real time. You want the coaches who have written serious amounts of business themselves and can give you specific customized feedback on what you're doing right and what you may need to tighten up. There's a massive difference between being handed a script and then being coached on how to actually execute one. The agencies that invest in your development are the ones where you actually develop. So now let's talk about the second major reason agents fail, because this one gets overlooked constantly, and it's leads. You can have the best script in the world, the most dialed in tonality, the sharpest objection handling on the planet, and if the people you're calling are low quality, you'll eventually burn out. You can sell aged leads, which is what I did, but it's a lot of work to say the least. So it can be done, but just can take a toll on a person after a while, because you get 4 times as many hangups, if not more. Here's what you need to understand. Not all leads are created equal. I don't care what any agency tells you, a lead is not always just a lead though. However, a high quality lead is somebody who went online, saw an ad specifically about life insurance, filled out their information voluntarily, and is expecting somebody to actually call them. They know what this is about. They're not confused. They're not angry. They're not going to just hang up on you before you finish your first sentence every single time. They actually clicked the link knowing what it was about, and not some ad that says they can win a free vacation. Yes, that is a real thing. People do advertise that way. The person who saw burial insurance or final expense and actually remembers actually filling out the lead is someone who you want on the other end of the phone. A low quality lead is basically the opposite. These people who get misled into thinking they're signing up for some sort of government assistance program or something free or something that has nothing to do with what you're actually selling. By the time you call them, they feel bait and switched, and no matter how smooth you are, you cannot close someone who feels deceived. And if you do, they wind up as a chargeback. You just can't. And the tragedy is that you paid for that lead. You used your time on that lead, and now you're sitting there wondering why your close rate is in the gutter, and when the real problem was never you to begin with. It was actually the garbage you were working with. I see so many agents burn out and quit or spend a ton of money in this business, not because they couldn't sell, but because they never cracked the lead problem. They were grinding on bad data, getting beat up on every call, losing confidence little by little, until one day they just decided it wasn't worth it. And to me, that's really disheartening, because a lot of those people had real talent or potential. They just never got in front of the right people. And here's something a lot of new agents don't realize. Yes, you're in a program where leads are provided to you. You're not cutting a check for them, but someone paid for them. And more importantly, you're paying for them with your time and your energy and your mental bandwidth. Every 30 minutes or hour you spend with a suspect and not a real prospect is an hour you're not spending on someone who's actually wanting to buy. Treat every lead like it costs you money, because in one way or another it did. A solid rule of thumb: follow up. A lot of agents think that if someone doesn't buy on the first call, they're dead. That is wrong. Studies have actually shown that somewhere between 40 and 60% of conversations don't actually happen until the fifth, sixth, seventh, or eighth contact. If you're one and done with your follow up, then you're just leaving an enormous amount of money on the table. The agents who make real money in this business are relentless about follow up. They build a system, they stay in front of their leads, and over time, that consistency will compound into serious income. Now, the third reason that many agents fail is one that a lot of people don't want to hear, but I'm just going to say it anyway because I'd rather be honest with you than tell you what you want to hear. Overeducation gets people the most. They need to know every little detail about every carrier and every rider you can possibly add. That type also tends to try and get every carrier under the sun to where half of them they will never write. I know it can be tough selling, and selling correctly needs to be the top priority. The finer details will always come as you go. You need a real sales process. You need to know how to open a call in a way that doesn't get you hung up on in the first 10 seconds every single time. You need to know how to build enough rapport that people trust you without getting so casual that you wind up in the friend zone. And if you don't know what the friend zone is in sales, go watch my video. You need the training to know how to ask the right questions, how to uncover what someone actually cares about, and how to tie that product directly to that emotional need. And you need to know how to handle objections without panicking, without getting defensive, and without going completely off the script the moment someone pushes back. You also need to learn underwriting. Which carrier takes which health conditions, what the underwriting looks like, how to find the best fit for a specific client. This stuff takes time to learn, and it takes someone who's done it before to teach you properly. You just can't Google your way to being a top producer. And beyond the technical side, you need the right mindset. This is a 1099 business. You wake up unemployed every single morning. There's no salary, there's no safety net, no supervisor who's going to give you some participation trophy for showing up. You eat what you kill, and that reality is jarring for a lot of people who come from traditional employment with a W-2. The agents who thrive are the ones who embrace that instead of fighting it. They accept the adversity is just part of the job. They get hung up on and they dial again. They get a chargeback and they adjust and keep going. They have a slow week and they double down instead of just checking out. One of the best pieces of advice I can give you is just to outwork the doubt. The agents who survive the longest in this business aren't always the most talented. They're the most consistent. They're the ones dialing when they don't feel like it, following up when it feels uncomfortable or inconvenient, and then investing in getting better every single day. That discipline compounded over months and years is what separates the people making 20 grand a month from the people who quit in the first 6 months wondering what happened. So here's how you stack the deck in your favor. Find the agency that puts you selling first. Get real training from real producers who are still in the game. Make sure you have access to quality leads at prices that actually make the math work. Or a shameless plug, join our free lead program. Build your follow-up system and stick to it. Commit to learning your craft like a professional, not just a person with a license, and develop the mental toughness to weather the storms that are actually going to come, because they come for everyone. Trust me, this business can give you an incredible life. I'm talking real income, real freedom, working from home whenever you want, wear whatever you want or not wear, but it won't give you any of that if you walk in without the right foundation. Get the foundation right, and then everything else comes with it. Do me a favor, guys, and if this helps, smash the like button, subscribe if you're not already, and drop a comment. What's your worst story of MLM that you got involved in or that you talked to? If you have specific questions, don't be afraid to shoot me an email at rykohaveitall@gmail.com. Always remember, most people don't fail because the opportunity wasn't real. They fail because they weren't ready for it. So get ready. See See you guys in the next one.
Subscribe now to be a Fexpert. Do it.